Welcome to Who Knew. Here are fans of the current series of Doctor Who, and here we discuss our likes, dislikes, and insights into the modern regeneration of the show. Subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher, or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WhoKnewPodcast. All our episodes are on WhoKnewPodcast.com. You can leave comments there, or email us at WhoKnewPodcast@gmail.com. We also have an Instagram and Twitter account. Tweet at us at WhoKnewPodcast, and find us on Facebook.
Hey guys, how are you all doing?
Pretty good.
All right, pretty good.
Fine.
I heard that you went to LA Comic-Con this year. Is that true?
That is completely accurate.
Who told you that?
I think I saw it on a social media website.
Yeah, that was us. One of the main things that we wanted to do this year at LA Comic-Con was attend the Doctor Who cosplay meetup that was on Saturday afternoon and was organized by Temple of Geek. And this time around, I got to see Monica again, who I met for the first time earlier this summer at San Diego Comic-Con. And I got to also meet Jose, who's one of their photographers.
That was a fun time.
Yeah, it was fun. It was good. You guys got a lot of attention in your outfits.
Yeah, I finally got to do my 10th Doctor cosplay the way I wanted to.
How is it in the past not the way you wanted to?
I couldn't get the hair proper.
Oh, proper?
Yeah.
Did you not have enough hair, or did you have too much? I mean,
I think not enough hair to get it the way that I...
All
It looked
spiky
very-
up.
Yeah, it looked very Tennant. I was very happy with the way it came out.
all right. And Brian, people kept asking you which doctor you are, and what was your answer?
I was eclectic.
Yes.
I was my own doctor who would be your professor this term. Because I had a costume with a corduroy blazer, with a polka dotted shirt, with a bow tie, and a paisley vest. So I had elements of 8, 10, 11, 12, and I liked it.
It was good. It was fun. It was very crowded, as they all are. We went mostly through Artist Alley, and we went to the vendors, and saw a lot of good stuff. A lot of great artists. There were celebrities there as usual, hawking their meetups and their signatures.
Was there anything special this year with Jodie Whittaker and her doctor?
There was a lot of 13th Doctor cosplay going on, and it was not just females, it was also males.
Yeah, there was a lot of people dressed in that outfit.
Which was great.
Yeah, to see the support of the new show is great.
And it looked good on everybody.
Yeah. Back to the cosplay meetup, they took a group photo at first, and then they broke them up into the different doctors or categories of other cosplayers, and by far it was the 13th Doctor people that were the most out of all of us.
Yeah, there was oh, I see what you're saying. Never mind. I mean, like I said, it was very crowded, but it did seem like the scale wasn't the same. I don't know. That's just me.
I
No,
bet
It was a definitely different crowd at LA. It seemed to be more niche oriented.
Yeah, it was definitely the good thing about the LA Comic Con, which is I don't know if it's still called Stan Lee's Los Angeles Comic Con, or it was originally called Stan Lee's Comic Kazi, is it is much more comic book oriented. There's plenty of pop culture stuff around and stuff that's geared towards movies, but it's definitely is geared more towards comic books and art.
It was
Oh,
also
yes.
weird because it was all taking place in one room, so they had the main stage on the same floor as the dealer's room.
Yeah, and I like that, actually. I mean, obviously, with the bigger venues such as WonderCon, you have more than one panel going on at the same time, so you can't do that. But what I liked about it is you could get a taste of it walking by. Nothing was really going on that I was super interested in, but I heard a few things that they said, and it was cool, and it really made it seem like those people were part of the convention rather than these people who were quartered off and like hidden from the public because they're big time celebrities or something. I think when we were walking by, the cast of Runaways, the new show, relatively new show, Runaways, was had a panel.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Some other artists, other times we were walking by.
Going back to the comment that Brian made about this Comic Con being more niche, we definitely saw some other cosplayers from other, let's say, what would you call them? Other
Like what?
shows in sci-fi. Like we saw some great movie Star Trek cosplayers. They were kind enough to take a photo with us, and that is also on our social media.
Yeah, they
I
were
saw
dressed.
that.
Okay.
Star
The
Trek
Wrath of Khan.
5. Yeah.
Don't call it Star Trek 5. It's the Wrath of Khan uniforms.
Well, it's also it was also Star Trek 5, right?
Nothing is Star Trek 5. Don't call it Star Trek 5.
Wait, which one? Wait, which was the whale ones?
4.
4.
Okay, that's what I meant. They were wearing that in 4 too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they wore it in 5 as well.
All right,
But
well,
the
But
first
we don't
one-
talk about 5.
I don't. Yeah, 5 is the one with Spock's brother, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we won't talk.
But the
about
first time they wore those uniforms was in Wrath of Khan.
it. Gotcha. And
Then
They are my favorite.
Then, other than the Star Trek movie costume guys, we saw some people dressed up as the Visitors. They had a booth with
That was great.
the
visitors
V
from
cosplayers.
V, yes, V, not
From V.
visitor with.
Yeah,
The original V. The
Yeah.
good V.
yeah. So those guys have a website of their own. You can find them at thevisitors.org.
Yeah, they have a whole
they're-
booth. They have like a whole like thing going on there. So if you're a fan of the original V, definitely check them out.
Those were great costumes. And they had all
Yeah.
the posters, the propaganda posters.
Yeah, that was great. And then along that kind of row we were going through, we met another cosplayer, Doctor Who cosplayer, and he was also dressed up as the 10th Doctor, Garth. And we mentioned about the cosplay meetup later in the afternoon. He was like, "Yeah, I'll be there." And so it was great to see somebody before the meetup.
There was really a lot of people at the meetup. I mean, how
Yeah.
many would you say were there?
50,
Yeah, maybe.
probably
Maybe.
50 people dressed up. Maybe 60 to 70 total, like including me, someone who didn't dress up, who was just there taking pictures and hanging out. There were two little, not little kids, but two kids, between 10 and 13, that had Dalek outfits, and that was great.
That was awesome.
The one kid in the black Dalek outfit, though, he was the one who was like, he was wearing it, but he had to carry it the whole. We kept seeing him. He had to hold it up so it wouldn't touch the ground the whole time. Like, we would see him walking around. I'm like, this kid's arms are going to get tired. I don't care if it's cardboard.
After a while, he seemed quite done.
Yeah, but there was a little girl in the classic Dalek, and her father was sort of dressed as the 12th Doctor. One of his outfits, I think he more just resembled his coloring, like he had gray hair and he
Yeah,
he
and
had
a hoodie.
he had a gray shirt and gray jeans,
Yeah, it was the combination of the hoodie, the gray hair, and the sunglasses.
sunglasses. I think he had a screwdriver too as well.
Yeah, he had that as well.
But that's one thing about that Doctor, and then the 9th Doctor, that you can get away with that cosplay and still walk around in public without feeling odd at all. There was a couple of those, 9th Doctors.
By couple, you mean two?
Yeah, that's what a couple is.
I know.
And there was 4 you guys, four 10th Doctors. And like you said, the 13th Doctor was probably what?
It was about 9.
Oh, and why don't you tell a little story about what we did afterwards and where we went?
Okay, normally at these comic conventions, we always seem to find a TARDIS. We did not find one at the convention center this year. But I want to go back and say that last year we saw the interior of the TARDIS. It was the one from the 1996 TV movie, and that's where we met Paul. And we had a great time talking to him, and we had a whole episode with him. But yeah, this year we did not see any TARDIS, and whatever you call it, plural, anywhere on the convention floor. So luckily, we knew where one was, and we drove all the way back to Burbank and went to Geeky Teas on Magnolia, where they have, I guess, a standing TARDIS, blue police box on the side of their location.
Geeky Teas is a niche geek shop or geek chic shop where they have a lot of some geeky pop culture items, a lot of role playing game. There's space in the back where they actually hold role playing campaigns. You could rent out the little rooms or a table in the big room, and it's also, I don't know if it's a cat. It's a cat sanctuary. I think at any given time they have 3 to 5 cats in this room. That I think in their old location they used to walk around the store freely. In this one they may have them sectioned off. I don't know. But I think the T is literally in Geeky Tees. It's for T-shirt, but it's also T. I think it's spelled TEA, and they serve tea there. It's a little ways from downtown Burbank on what's called Magnolia Park in Burbank on Magnolia. And actually, I'll give it a little plug because the shop owners there. It's a very quaint area of Burbank. A lot of old mom and pop shops and neat shops and independently owned shops. A lot of their rent is being raised recently. So if you Google Save Magnolia Park in Burbank, California, they're trying to deal with the landlord so the rent stops being raised. But anyway, they moved a location recently because of that. But they've had this TARDIS outside for I was driving by not too long ago because when they originally had it outside, it was a little hidden. But I was shocked to see it, and part of me really wanted it to be like the next time I drove by, it wouldn't be there. But thinking I'm waiting for the noise.
Well, we were also lucky enough that Josh was our photographer that day, and so me and Brian got to do some running.
Yes, some good running shots of you guys going to the TARDIS.
Seriously, there's always so much running.
I will say this. I don't know if everyone had it, but most of them seem to have a jacket that is the Ninth Doctor's jacket that you can buy online. They have official.
13?
I'm sorry, 13th. They have official clothing for that already.
So I think it's relatively easy for people to get, not like some of the other stuff where you have to have it made in China.
Right. And also, too, if you listeners are curious, the meetup was organized by Temple of Geek. Did you say this already, Eugene?
Yes, I did.
Okay, very good.
I mean, you guys have already talked about some of your favorite doctors and favorite things to see at the Comic-Con. Is there, when you guys go to the meetups, is there anything that, like, if somebody wanted to come to one for the first time, anything that they should know, or that you wish that you had known the first time that you went to a cosplay meetup?
Yeah, the way I learn about these meetups is just through social media. They'll create an event on Facebook. They'll post something about it on Instagram. That's how I found out about the cosplay meetup at San Diego Comic-Con, and how I found out about Freema Agyeman being there was through Instagram. And then this time around for LA Comic-Con with the cosplay meetup was through Facebook because of the invite that they created, or the event that they created.
And it sounds like there's all different levels of cosplay that happen. So would you say, like, somebody who's an amateur would feel just as comfortable as someone who has been a quote-unquote professional cosplayer?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they just welcome everybody, because like we were mentioning earlier, the guy that was the 12th Doctor wasn't even cosplaying, but he just looked like it, so he just jumped in.
It's just about fun, I think people who have store-bought costumes, people are like, oh, that's cool, it looks just like something because it's a store-bought costume. And then there are the people who have obviously made their costumes, and then you can look at them and find it interesting to see like the ingenuity in how they made it out of like household items. Then there are the people who made their costumes out of more like materials to try to make it look right. Then there are people who are like, I guess, bounding, where like when you're Disney bounding, who they wear an outfit that's
it's the same color scheme,
or it's a modern or a contemporary version of whatever, and it's just fun and interesting. So if you're like kind of wondering, should I dress up? Will I look weird? No one's going to think anybody looks weird at these things. It's all about fun.
Yeah, that was nice about this year, that we got stopped by random people as we were just walking through the exhibit hall, and they were asking to take photos of us. So that felt really good.
Yeah,
It was a little weird.
You're just not used to it.
Like good, weird, same difference.
It's just
But even when we went down to Staples Center and had lunch at that pizza place, We were in costume, but we were like the tamest people in the whole restaurant.
That's true.
Yeah. People, and then now, like you said, Halpern, there are professional cosplayers. There are celebrities, and their whole celebrity is because they're cosplayers, and that's their living, or at least part of their living.
You can go and no one's going to look down on you and no one's going to judge your costume. So everyone should just feel really free to go and participate in these events.
Absolutely.
Yes, but I do have to say I judged some people in their costumes. Because some people were wearing costumes that they shouldn't have been wearing.
So it's less of a Star Trek vibe versus Wrath of Khan and more of a appropriate level of coverage.
Yes. Yeah.
That is the
There
most
was,
eloquent way I've heard that put. Thank you.
And this year being so close to Halloween, I mean, it's probably pretty close to Halloween every year, but this year, was there any like crossover from like costumes that you're like, is that really a science fiction or comic costume, or is that just somebody's leftover Halloween costume in the broader con?
Well, it all seemed to fit. Because I think, too, I mean, some people will wear outfits that aren't directly from a character. They're like steampunk. I mean, well, steampunk is a thing now, but
I did see a lot of those T-Rex big costumes that have like the internal fan to blow it up, so it's big.
Is there a lot of them, or was it just the same guy who was just walking all around?
No, I saw a couple.
I think I saw 3.
It's cool in there because there's always a fan, or is it exactly the opposite?
I think it's the opposite because it keeps in all that heat.
But even that, it wasn't annoying.
No, I thought the crowd in general, the vibe of the crowd was pretty chill. No one themselves were being outwardly obtrusive.
Oh no, it was a good crowd.
There were a few aisles that we went to turn down, and we were like, we can skip this one because of the crowds.
Yeah. We'll come back later.
Yeah, but that was about it. It wasn't huge. We had a good time, and we left at a reasonable hour. We weren't too exhausted.
It was also really nice just to be at a convention where we didn't have any schedule.
Yeah.
So we got there when we got there. We didn't have to rush for anything. Josh was assaulting people on the street, but other than that,
and then the only thing that I wanted to do for sure was the cosplay meetup, and that was later in the afternoon, so no big deal.
And they were also really smart because they had it on a lower level. With the LA Convention Center, there's the big open lobby area at the bottom of the stairs and the escalators by the front doors. And so that's where everybody hangs out. And that's a great place to see all the costumes. But if you're organizing a large group of people, what a pain. So there was actually a level underneath that that Temple of Geek knew. And so we met up down there, and then we basically could, we didn't have any problems posing for pictures. And they even had some interviews. They were interviewing people afterwards, which I don't think they could have done upstairs. It would have been too loud.
Yeah, I was glad we got to go again. It's as far as Comic Cons, LA Comic Con is one of the more newer ones, so I like to see how much it's growing and how they do things a little bit differently and maybe get a little more popular. So it's nice to see something in its infancy grow. And I can't. If I didn't go last year, we wouldn't have met Paul, who I also want to give him a little plug. Is that his book is already out now? It's called On the Set, and you can order it through Amazon. He's a writer, director, and the owner of the 1996 Doctor Who TV movie TARDIS console. And this is the 4th edition of the book, and it's got some great interviews from working people in the business. And one of them is Noel Clarke, Mickey Smith from Doctor Who. Go and check out Paul J. Salamoff's new book.
And it's called On the Set?
On the Set, The Hidden Rules of Movie Making Etiquette.
Cool.
And if anyone wants to go to the LA Comic Con next year, what are some of the steps they should start taking today?
I believe you can still buy tickets the day of.
Yeah. It's not like San Diego or
Gallifrey One.
That sell out hours or seconds after they go online. And it's not like WonderCon that usually sells out
like a week
a
or
day
two.
or two ahead. Yeah. This one, they were still selling tickets when we walked up, and they were fairly inexpensive. I want to say they were $30 for the Saturday.
Something between that. It's not nothing
Yeah.
too crazy. It's very reasonable.
Yeah, so this one is, you don't need to prep months in advance.
Very cool.
Yeah. So our next convention will be Gallifrey 1 in 2019
I'm so looking forward to that.
Where will that take place?
in the Marriott near LAX.
Okay.
They came out with their second round of guest announcements today.
But yeah, check out our photos of the coverage from our photographer Josh of that day. More of them will be posted on our Instagram account. Hope to see or meet some of you listeners in these upcoming conventions.
Oh yeah. Is there any way that a listener would know, besides seeing our photos online, that we are the Who Knew podcast?
Brian, would you like to explain?
Oh, we're always wearing our Who Knew podcast button, which is the logo that you see online, the Gallifreyan writing inside the blue circle. We always have those buttons, and we always carry a bunch of those around for anybody who wants one.
So don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, if you see us wearing it, well, for what you know, you'll see a fan wearing it. But if you see us, if you know what we look like, or if we're cosplaying at all, like if you let us know, and we got a bag full of buttons to give you.
I'm really happy with the way my hair came out. I know Brian did a couple double takes.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
And
well done. And you looked very David Tennant.
Thank you. And having Josh there, he knew where to position us to take some photos.
Yeah, I did my best.
It was great.
Yes.
Thank you to the.
It was really
I
good.
tried. I know some things.
I like that. I really like that black and white serious one of the two of us.
And I'm starting to really get used to the portrait mode on the new iPhone X. So that was very nice to use.
Yeah, that was another thing where Josh was just experimenting with his new toy. And I did not object at all. That was fun. Order of Gallifrey is another group of cosplayers and just Doctor Who fans. Some of them were also there with the Temple of Geek cosplay meetup. So it was great to see two sort of groups come together to form a larger group of fans. So you can follow Temple of Geek and see what other events and meetups and just coverage that they've got, because they got a great network and a wide reach of all these different conventions. So it's great to see coverage of those particular events that are outside of the state, outside across the country, just anywhere. They've got people there, so they're nice, they're easy to talk to, and they're very friendly. You can find them at on social media. Just type in Temple of Geek, all one word, and you should find something on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So those are our thoughts on LA Comic Con 2018. We look forward to LA Comic Con 2019, which will be held on October 11th through the 13th in 2019 at the Los Angeles Convention Center. And you can go to their website at comicconla.com.
How many C's in Comic Con? COMIC CCON?
Yeah. Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time when the future becomes the present.
You just listened to an episode of Who Knew Podcast.
Our wonderful theme music is by Michael Grady.
Find him on Facebook at The Universe Explodes.
All our episodes are engineered by me, Auburn.
Find him at auburnbinkley.com.
You can find this show in several places.
Follow us on Twitter at Who Knew Podcast.
Subscribe, review, and listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher.
Or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Who Knew Podcast.
Visit our Facebook page.
Please leave comments, reviews, and click like to help support Who Knew Podcast.
Also listen to us on your Amazon Echo by enabling a podcast skill.
All of our episodes are on whoknewpodcast.com.
This podcast is inspired by Doctor Who,
the longest running sci-fi show in history.
And especially the revival spearheaded by Russell T. Davis.
Thanks to Russell,
Sydney Newman,
Verity Lambert,
Ron Grainer,
and all those involved in the adventures of our favorite Time Lord.
Your work continues to inspire and entertain.